The moment the truth begins to form, Willow Cain feels it before she can fully understand it. It starts as a quiet discomfort, something small sitting deep in her chest, but within seconds it grows heavier, sharper, impossible to ignore. She stands still in the middle of the room, her phone resting loosely in her hand, her eyes unfocused as her mind drifts back to that night. Every detail begins replaying all at once, not in order but like fragments crashing into each other. Kai's voice comes back first, clear and casual, almost careless. He had mentioned the bat the police confiscated, and at the time it didn't seem strange, but now it feels completely wrong. That wasn't public information. That wasn't something people were talking about. That was evidence, something only a limited number of people should have known about. Willow's fingers slowly tighten around her phone as the thought settles in deeper than she wants it to. How could Kai know that unless he had been there? She tries to shake it off, tries to convince herself she's overthinking, but the feeling won't go away. Instead, another memory pushes its way forward. Trina's voice this time, confident and immediate, identifying Wiley's ringtone without hesitation. That moment didn't stand out before, but now it feels like the biggest clue of all. Willow's breathing starts to change, growing uneven as she realizes how impossible that should have been. Wiley's ringtone isn't something obvious or widely recognized. It's personal, something you only know if you've heard it before. Now the pieces begin to connect faster. Kai knew about the bat, Trina knew the ringtone, and then there was that one detail Kai mentioned so casually, the sound carrying to the bedroom. That's the moment everything locks into place. Willow stops moving completely, her body going still as the realization hits her fully. They weren't guessing, they weren't assuming, they were there. The words come out in a whisper, but they feel louder than anything she said. They were in the bedroom, and if they were in the bedroom, then they didn't just hear her phone, they heard everything that happened that night. The weight of that realization crashes over her, making it hard to breathe as the truth settles in. She isn't the only one carrying that secret anymore. Her mind jumps ahead, racing through possibilities she doesn't want to consider. If they know, then what are they going to do? Have they told anyone? Have they already started connecting the same pieces she just did? The uncertainty is what terrifies her most, not knowing where she stands, not knowing how much danger she's really in. Across town, Kai Taylor is dealing with that same pressure from the other side. He sits at the table, his hands clasped tightly, his jaw tense as he replays every second of that conversation in his mind. He knows exactly where he slipped. He said too much without realizing it, and now it's catching up to him fast. He exhales sharply, frustrated with himself. In Port Charles, even one mistake can cost everything, and Willow isn't the kind of person who ignores details. Once she starts thinking, once she starts connecting things, there's no stopping her. The door opens, pulling him out of his thoughts. Michael Corinthos steps inside, calm but observant, the kind of look that suggests he's already sensing something is off. Kai quickly straightens, forcing a neutral expression as Michael asks if he's interrupting anything. Kai brushes it off, saying he was just thinking, but the answer comes out too quickly, too controlled. Michael doesn't move right away. He studies Kai carefully, noticing the tension, the way his body language doesn't match his words. When he asks what Kai is thinking about, the answer comes out vague, everything going on, but that only makes Michael more suspicious. In this town, vague answers rarely mean nothing. There's a quiet pause between them, heavy with unspoken tension. Michael senses there's more beneath the surface, something Kai isn't saying, but for now he lets it go. Still, the moment lingers, leaving behind a feeling that something bigger is starting to unfold. Back at home, Willow hasn't stopped pacing. Her thoughts keep spiraling, jumping ahead to every possible outcome. If Kai and Trina know the truth, then the situation is already slipping out of her control. The secret she's been holding onto so tightly isn't hers alone anymore, and that changes everything. She considers the worst possibilities first. What if they've already told someone? What if they've gone to Drew? The thought alone makes her chest tighten as panic creeps back in. She shakes her head, forcing herself to think clearly. No, she can't let it get that far. She needs to take control before things spiral beyond her reach. At the same time, Drew Cain stands alone, his mind working through a realization of his own. It started as a small detail, something that didn't seem important at first, but now it refuses to be ignored. The ringtone. It keeps coming back to that one moment that didn't quite fit. Now it does. Drew exhales slowly, his expression shifting as the pieces begin to align. Willow, that night, the sound of her phone, it isn't random anymore. It's a clue, and Drew isn't the kind of man who ignores a clue once he notices it. Instead, he follows it step by step until it leads somewhere useful. For Drew, this isn't just curiosity. It's opportunity. Information like this has value, and value means leverage. The only question is how he plans to use it. Back with Willow, her phone suddenly vibrates in her hand, snapping her out of her thoughts. She looks down, and the moment she sees the name on the screen, her breath catches. Trina. The timing feels too precise to be coincidence. Willow stares at the screen for a second, her thumb hovering as hesitation creeps in. Once she answers, there's no going back to not knowing, no pretending everything is fine, but she already knows. So she answers. Her voice comes out steady, even though her heart is racing. On the other end, Trina sounds just as careful as she says they need to talk. No denial, no confusion, no attempt to avoid it. That alone confirms everything. Willow closes her eyes briefly, taking a slow breath before responding. Yes, they need to talk. And with those few words, the situation shifts completely. This isn't suspicion anymore, it's confrontation. The silence after the call feels heavier than anything Willow has experienced so far. It isn't calm, it isn't quiet in a comforting way. It's the kind of silence that builds pressure, the kind that tells you something irreversible is about to happen. She doesn't waste time. She grabs her things, her mind already focused on what comes next. Part of her wants to delay, to find a way around this, but she knows there isn't one, not anymore. Across town, Trina stands near the window, her phone still in her hand as she stares out without really seeing anything. She knows what that call means. Willow isn't guessing anymore. She's figured it out, and once someone reaches that point, there's no undoing it. Cain arrives soon after, his expression tense the moment he steps inside. He doesn't need to ask what's happening. One look at Trina is enough. Willow knows, now it's just a matter of facing it. They stand there for a moment in silence, both understanding the weight of what's coming. Whatever they thought they could control before is gone. The truth is already moving, already forcing its way to the surface. Willow arrives shortly after. She pauses outside the door for just a second, her heart pounding as she prepares herself. This is the moment everything changes. Once she walks in, there's no going back. She knocks. The door opens almost immediately. Trina stands there, calm on the surface but tense underneath. Their eyes meet, and in that instant everything is understood, no explanations needed. Willow steps inside. Cain is already there, and now all three of them are standing in the same room, the same secret hanging between them. Willow doesn't sit, she doesn't wait. She looks directly at them and says it clearly, "You were there." No hesitation, no doubt. Trina and Cain exchange a quick glance, but there's no denial. They both know the truth has already reached this point. Willow takes a step closer. In the bedroom, that night, Trina exhales slowly before answering, "Yes." The word lands hard, confirming everything Willow feared. Cain nods shortly after, his voice quieter but steady as he adds that they didn't plan any of it. They didn't even realize what they were walking into at first, but that doesn't change what they heard. Willow's breathing deepens as she processes it fully. They were there, they heard everything. The moment she thought was hers alone is no longer hidden. "You heard the phone," she says, her voice tightening. "Yes," Trina admits. "And the rest?" Cain meets her eyes this time. "We heard enough." That answer shifts everything. The truth isn't partial anymore, it's complete. Willow looks between them, her expression sharpening as the real question finally comes out. "Then what are you going to do with it?" Trina hesitates before answering, choosing her words carefully. "We haven't told anyone." Cain nods, "And we're not planning to." Willow studies them closely, searching for any sign of hesitation, any hint that they're hiding something else. What she sees instead is conflict. They're not comfortable with this. They're not confident, which means this situation is still unstable. Meanwhile, across town, Drew continues connecting pieces, unaware that the truth is already being confronted. For him, this is still unfolding, still something he can shape. And Drew isn't the kind of man who lets opportunities pass. At the same time, Nina stands frozen under Brennan's pressure, knowing that whatever she does next could cost her everything. Find Valentin, or watch Willow's life fall apart. The clock is already ticking. Back in the room, Willow takes a slow breath. "This doesn't stay buried forever," she says quietly. And they all know it's true. Secrets like this don't disappear. They grow, they spread, and eventually they explode. Before anyone can respond, Willow's phone vibrates again. She glances down, and this time, her expression changes completely, because it's not Trina, it's Drew, calling her. Right now, at this exact moment, Willow doesn't answer immediately. She just stares at the screen, her mind racing all over again. Because suddenly, everything feels even more dangerous. If Drew is already calling, how much does he know, and how close is he to finding out the rest? Willow slowly looks back up at Trina and Kai, her voice lower now, more serious than before. This just got worse. And in that moment, all three of them realized the same thing at the same time. They're not just dealing with a secret anymore, they're dealing with a countdown. Because if Drew starts pulling on this thread, everything could unravel faster than any of them are ready for, and when it does, there won't be any way to stop it.